So he and his wife Catherine were invited here to Felpham by a wealthy patron, William Hayley, who lived, just more or less over the road, in the turret house that he had constructed here. And he invited Blake and Catherine, Blake's wife, to Felpham to assist Hayley with his own literary productions. So Hayley was a sort of wealthy figure who had some pretensions as a poet. Nowadays his poetry is not particularly popular, but in the time he was sort of reasonably successful poet. And he asked Blake to come and do the illustrations basically for his work. Blake at the time, as through most of his life, was suffering from poverty. Really, he was never financially successful or financially secure at any point in his lifetime. But in that particular period where Hayley invited him down to Felpham, that was really a period where it was, he leapt at that chance to come here and leave London for a few years and have a little bit of financial security. So Blake designed various engravings to illustrate Hayley's books, as well as painting pictures to hang in Hayley's newly constructed turret house in the village. And this was a really exciting opportunity for the impoverished Blake. And when Blake arrived here in 1800, he wrote that Hayley had rescued him from, in quotes, a deep pit of melancholy in London. So on his arrival in Felpham, Blake wrote these lines: "I have rent the black net and escaped. See my cottage at Felpham in joy. Beams over the sea, a bright light over France. But the web and the veil I have left behind at London resists every beam of light. I shake my wings, ready to take my flight." So he was ecstatic, basically, to arrive here. However, as time went by, Blake began to feel that Hayley had little understanding or respect for Blake's own artistic and literary work. So throughout the whole of Blake's lifetime, he had sort of like two sides to his life. He obviously had all of his amazing literary and artistic productions, which we know him for today, his own personal visionary work, which he was trying to fit in wherever he could, but he hardly made any money from that. And so through his whole lifetime, he was a jobbing engraver, doing jobs for other people and engraving whatever they wanted him to engrave, basically. So this was the basis on which he'd been employed by Hayley as well. And he began to feel that Hayley, although Hayley had been very kind in arranging for him to come and live here and give him some financial security for a few years, that Hayley didn't really appreciate him, for his own artistic and visionary qualities. Later on, as you may know, when Blake got into trouble with the law while he lived here, Hayley basically rescued him, but Blake wasn't, as we'll see, Blake wasn't especially grateful. So Blake's own work, some of which you can see around you here, was in a very different style to the commercial engraving